In this video, we're going to continue building the expandable header component that we started building in the last video. If you haven't seen that yet, I'd recommend going to watch it first, otherwise this won't make that much sense. But if you haven't watched the last video, this type of video is different to what I usually do in my tutorials. Usually I have a sort of plan to work from. I know what I'm going to build and I just walk through building it and explaining the process. These videos I sort of try and code something live, so to speak. The videos still are edited, so it's not technically live, but I just walk through how I'm approaching building it without actually knowing how I'm going to build it in the first place. So I make mistakes along the way, and sometimes things don't work out as well as I would have hoped, but some people at least seem to find it interesting, so I'm continuing to do these types of videos. So in the last tutorial, we started building this UI that's on screen now, where there's this header that kind of expands as the content is scrolled, or rather it shrinks as the content is scrolled. It starts out full size, and then as the user scrolls down the list, it shrinks until it eventually goes away completely. So if I jump into the app now, you can see what we have so far. So we have this app here where if I drag, that header area sort of shrinks and goes away. So I had to cut the last video off at this point. It was getting a bit long, but we still have quite a bit of functionality left to try and build, so I thought it'd be interesting to do a follow-up to this and attempt to tackle doing these fields, adding some content into the header area that I guess disappears when it's relevant or no longer relevant. So as the header shrinks and there's no longer room for a certain element, it should fade away. So again, I have no idea really how I'm going to implement this yet, or if it's going to work, but we'll see how it goes. So the first thing that we're going to attempt to do is to get some content into this header, and then we'll deal with making it hide as this thing scrolls. So we could just define this directly in the component here. So we could just write it in here, and that's going to display in the header. The downside to that is that it's not really adaptable to use in other circumstances. So this component will have this hard-coded template that it's using, but really what we'd prefer to do, wherever we use that component, it'd be good if we could configure it there. So I can just dump some content in here, and that is what the component uses. And so this is quite easy to do. I'm actually using something called content projection. So if I just write something in here, I'll just say hello. So if I save that now, and we see what happens in the browser, you can see we don't get anything displaying there. But what I can do is I come into the component here, and I can set up some tags in here. So I just have to write ng content. And so what that's going to do, it's going to set up that content projection so that whatever we write in here is projected into the component inside of these ng content tags. So if I save that now and we take a look, you can see that hello is displayed now. So I can drag that up now and it does disappear. So really we could just add some stuff here and then just have it being hidden behind the rest of the content as it shrinks away. Which probably would look alright, but we're going to try and get that effect of things disappearing as they're just about to sort of hit that limit. So let's get some more realistic content in there first. Let's try add some fields like this example we use here. Okay, so I'll probably just cut out a bunch of what I just did there. I spent way too long playing around with styles and stuff to get these looking okay. Yeah, I get sidetracked and spend way too long fiddling with CSS and stuff, so I'm just going to leave it here. We've got some fields here which look okay. Still not that happy with it, but I'm going to go with it for now, otherwise my computer's going to explode from overheating. It doesn't really like it when I record videos too much on the laptop. So that's that dealt with for now. We'll go with this for the input fields there. And we still need to deal with this issue of things of the I guess the content in the header area displaying behind the content here.
So we'll try and figure out exactly what's going on there. It might be a Z index issue perhaps. So we'll inspect that and we'll get that sitting there. So let's we'll go into the content area. So that's well, actually we don't want that bit specifically. We want to scroll content. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to block out the correct thing. Let's just give this a big Z index and see what happens. So the nav bar blocks it out fine. It's just the content area. So I think what we might need to do is add a background to our content area here. So we might be able to just add that directly to Ion content. So we have a background, it seems. And if I let me just try bump that Z index up to lots, and yeah, so then that blocks out the nav bar as well. That kind of messes up the whole header area, so that's not really an option to fix that. So what I might do is instead we'll add another sort of container in here. And we'll add a background color to that in here. Then we might just have to mess around with I'm just going to make this like black so it's really obvious to see. Okay, and so we've got the padding on there too. So if we scroll that up now, we can see that that's still displaying above. So if I inspect this, and we'll try bumping up the Z index on the content container. Actually, I think maybe I'm going about all this all wrong. If I just set the overflow property on the expandable header, because that's shrinking. The content area isn't moving over the top of it, that's shrinking into nothingness, but the input is still displaying, even though the container that it's in is essentially 0 height. So I should be able to just come into here and set the overflow to hidden. So we'll save that and we'll see if that works. Yeah, that's a much easier solution. So let me just clean up the junk I added there. And we'll remove that container as well. Yeah, so that's a much nicer solution as well because it doesn't require us doing anything to our template here. Everything happens inside of the expandable header, which makes it more modular, and we can sort of use it wherever we want. So that's the goal. So that works nicely. Okay, so we've got that working now. Now we can start working on the sort of animated effect going on here. So what we're going to have to do is figure out when these elements are no longer visible, or at least when part of them is no longer visible. So say when it hits there, I want to hide that password field. And then if we can manage to get them hiding at that point, then we can animate that transition. So we'll see what we can do. So what I might do is just jump in here and I might just try working with the element ref directly here. It's probably better if maybe we did something like creating a sort of child component or something that these could sit inside of. But I just want to see if we can actually get this working at all in the first place. Yeah, so usually I just like experimenting and trying to get things working in the simplest way possible, and then seeing if there's room to improve that afterwards. So what I'm thinking is that we'll perhaps inside of this, when this scroll event is going on, as we're handling the header shrinking, we can check what the new header height is. And then I guess what we're trying to do is see if the bottom of this field, if that still falls inside of that new client height, the new height for the header, then we'll display it, and if not, we'll hide it. So let's just try logging out some things and we'll see what we have to work with. So we're going to do stuff inside of here. I might send this out to... No, I'll just do everything inside of here for now. So I can get rid of that event. I already know what's going on there. And what I'm going to do is just log out the children of the native element. which hopefully should give us our two input fields. So we'll save that, take a look. Okay, so if I scroll now, we don't have any children being rendered out. Let me just log out just the native element and just realize that my inputs have disappeared. I'm not sure what's going on there, or why they've gone missing all of a sudden. Perhaps I'll try reserving the application. I reserve the application and then back. I swear some really strange stuff is going on with this, with these videos, but I'll push on. Okay, so let's get back to what we were just doing. I was trying to log out the native element. We're going to see what sort of properties we have to work with. We want to grab the children, and then we want to figure out when to display and hide them. So I'll log that out again. Okay, and we'll scroll to get these popping up. Okay, so we've got the children property there now. So we can see our two Ion items under children. So this could be good to work with. So the first one, the username input, the client top, that's the distance from the top is 0. So if I look at the password field, sorry, that's not client top, we want offset top. So this has an offset top of 54, and then our username has an offset top of 0. So if we can combine that offset with the height, we should be able to get, so say, let's use the password as an example. And just open that up again. Screen's jumping all over the place. Okay, so this should be the password. So we have the offset top of 54. So that should be the distance from the top to where that field begins. And then we have a client height of 44, which should be how tall the field is entirely. So if we combine offset top with client height, we should be able to get the distance at the bottom of this element is from the top of the screen, hopefully. So what I'm going to try and do is we'll do so this dot element dot native element dot children, and again I just want to highlight this. Again, this probably isn't the best way to do it. I'm working with the DOM directly, which isn't really the most angular way to do things, but I just want to see if we can get this to work. So we'll run a for each on those, and we'll pass in the each field. We'll just call this, what should I call it? It's not necessarily going to be an input, so I'll just call it, I don't really want to call it element, we'll call it header element. And I'll just check that that is receiving something. I should probably not log that out as well. Oh well. Okay, so scroll that. Is that not a, oh, that's not an array, is it? Let me check. It's a HTML collection. So we should be able to just do, we should be able to do a for of loop instead. So if I do for let header element of this dot element dot native element dot children, and we'll just log out the header element there, and we'll check that that works now. I have to delete this. Okay, so we have the elements popping up there now. Okay, so now if I just check, I'll see if I can grab that offset. We wanted offset top, and we also want the client height. So we'll make sure that we can grab those two values, and then we should be good to start trying to do some stuff with it. Syntax error. There we go. Okay, so we'll scroll, and we have numbers. Great. So we've got 0, which is the 0, which is the for the username, and then the username field has 44 pixels in height, and then the offset 54 for the password, which should be the height of the username plus 10 pixels of margin, and then that has also a height of 44. So now we should be able to compare those numbers to whatever the current, the new header height is, and then determine whether or not to display those. So I'll get rid of this log statement here. I don't need that, and I'm going to move this down here. I'll do it after I set the height, not that it really makes a difference. So just to test, I'm going to check these values and then just log out should hide if we want to hide the element. So I'll create a variable called, we'll just call it total height. And we'll set that to equal the offset top plus the client height. And then we'll check that against whatever the new header height was. So we'll say if total height is greater than the new header height, we'll log out should hide element. So we'll save that and jump back into the browser and hope that this works. Okay, so scroll up. Nothing's logging out now, which is good because we don't want to hide this element yet. And hopefully, as soon as we touch that password field, we get something log out that says should hide. And it looks like that is actually working. So this whole time that's going to be logging out because it should be hidden all those times. We might add a check to see if it's already hidden, so we're not setting fields unnecessarily. And then if I get over to here, the username as well, we should be getting 2 messages every time we move just a little bit. And it looks like we are, so I think this is going to work. So we're going to use this same sort of thing here, this set element style. I'm going to copy that down here, and we'll pass in the header element instead. And we'll get rid of that console log statement for now. And we'll set the set display to actually we won't set display, we'll set opacity to 0 because that way we can sort of animate it from full opacity to no opacity, so it can kind of fade out. So we set opacity to 0. So we'll save that and we'll see if the things actually hide now. Oh, this needs to be a string, not a number. Okay, so let's try scroll up again and hopefully it just disappears this time. And it does, that's really cool. So then we need to do the flip side of that, which is to display it if it shouldn't be hidden. So I guess in the other case here, we'll just say else this.renderer.set element. We're going to use the opacity again and we'll set it back to 1. And so we'll get rid of them and scroll back and they pop back in again. Cool, so this is actually turning out quite well. We'll do one more thing. Like I said, I do want to check if those elements are if they're already displayed or hidden, and only do this where necessary. Probably we're not going to do that in this video. I will do it in the follow-up blog post. But one more thing I do want to do is see if we can get that animation happening. And so I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be better to do something here. I'm thinking the best way to deal with it is probably to define it in our home file. This will allow us to control the animation through here rather than through the header. Yeah, which way is best, I'm not sure, but it's going to be easiest to do it through here. So I should be able to just jump into here and on the Ion item just add a transition property. Should be able to do 1 second linear. I always forget how to do these transitions. I usually end up looking them up. We'll refresh that. Okay, and let's try scroll past and hide it now. Cool, and that slowly fades out over 1 second. And as they come back, they slowly fade back in again. So that's probably a bit slow though. Let's change that to like 0.2. We'll have it go pretty quick. Yeah, that's really cool. I really like that. Alright, so that more or less works now. We've pretty much built the functionality that's here. It's not anywhere near as nice looking as this one is, but that's mostly just going to be some additional CSS stuff going on, a bit of tidying up. But the basic idea is there, the basic functionality is there, and it works. Yeah, just the main note I'd like to make is that there's definitely improvements to the way this could be done in terms of performance and setting these unnecessarily, and even the general structure of, I guess, looping through these DOM elements manually. So if I have any more thoughts around this, I'll include that in the blog post. I will tidy this up or make it look a bit prettier for the blog post. But yeah, this is most of the functionality done already, and yeah, I'm very happy with that. Just as a final check, this is designed in such a way that you should be able to put as many items as you want in here, and they should all just show and hide automatically. So I'll double these up and we'll check that that's actually the case. Of course, all these aren't going to fit. But yeah, you can see the username disappeared there. This is actually too, it's not tall enough to fit all those in, so I could go in here and we'll just double it, set it to 300. And that's another improvement that could be done to this as well. We could allow that to be specified through an input on the component itself. Maybe you could do like header height equals whatever you want in here. So let me just refresh this. Where are those fields? Why are they not showing up? Okay, so I just reserved the application and they're showing up again now. I don't know why that keeps happening. That's weird. But they're there now, so let's test those. That hides the displays. Yeah, so it looks like this is all working. We can add as many elements as we want in there, and they're going to hide and display as necessary. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Keep a lookout for the blog post when it is released, and I'll see you in the next video.